Here at Chat Sports, we have NFL free agency rumors and an awesome deal going on with today's sponsor, Magic Spoon. You guys can save $5 off your very first order on healthy cereal. All you got to do is go to magicspoon.com/chat. So what's coming up here on today's show? We're going to try to predict where these free agents are going to sign. Steven Nelson, cornerback. Le'Veon Bell, big name running back. And then free agent wide receiver Golden Tate. Before we take a look at some of the top destinations from Bleacher Report, from CBS, which out of these three names interests you the most? If it's Steven Nelson, I want you to type SN. If it's Le'Veon Bell, type LB. Maybe it's Golden Tate, wide receiver, type GT. If I'm being real, Le'Veon Bell does kind of have the most interest here, even though he's probably the least athletic out of all three names that you see on screen. But hey, let me know down in the comments, out of these three free agents, interests you the most. Steven Nelson to the Buffalo Bills. That's what we're talking about here on today's show. So CBS ended up predicting where the top free agents will sign in 2021. They had the free agent cornerback Nelson signing with Buffalo. There's been multiple reports out there that Buffalo has been interested in Nelson. Also, those reports have linked literally 14 NFL teams apparently being interested in Steven. Like, I get it. He's a good player, 28 years old, 5'11", 194 pounds, coming off a pretty productive season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 48 tackles, 2 INTs, 9 pass breakups. My biggest thing with Nelson has been, I don't really know how good he's going to be outside of the fact of not having a very talented Pittsburgh Steelers defense around him. But here's what Bleacher Report had to say on Nelson going to Buffalo. While quarterback Josh Allen rises to stardom, the Buffalo Bills should go all in on roster upgrades to increase their chances at a Super Bowl run. They have a solid cornerback tandem in Tre'Davious and Levi Wallace, but general manager Brandon Beane can replace the latter with a more experienced starting veteran. So what do y'all think here? Go down in the comments section. Do you think Nelson is going to end up landing with the Buffalo Bills? I want you to go ahead and type B. If you think there's going to be another team out there that makes a little bit more sense for Nelson to go out and sign, type O for other. If you want to be an overachiever and tell me literally which team you think that's going to be, please go ahead and do so down in the comments. So in terms of some other destinations that I think could be making some sense, or the top 5 destinations that I would bet on Nelson going to, I got the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Jets, the Bills, the Bears, and then the Arizona Cardinals. It's not really in any particular order whatsoever. It's more of just, I believe that some of these teams have some needs at the cornerback position. You could probably put him on the inside if really you needed to, but he's probably more of an outside cornerback, coming off one of the better years that he's had in 2020. But I don't want to just look at what he's done in 2020, because sometimes one-year guys can come out and have a great season. I want to be able to show you what he's been able to do over the last 4 seasons before that. 2019, 2018. This is where he kind of came out in his party. 2018, 15 pass breakups, 4 INTs, very impressive. 2019, 61 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 1 INT. The issue is with Nelson is people are like, well, he was kind of a below-average corner for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then he goes ahead and goes to Pittsburgh. So it's like, which guy are you necessarily going to get? Are you going to get the dude that showed up in Kansas City? Because let's face it, that's not really a cornerback that maybe some of these teams should consider if you are Buffalo, when there's some other top guys out on the market. But if you do get the player that you had in Pittsburgh, well, that is a little bit more intriguing. But if Buffalo is looking to upgrade at cornerback, I think that there are 3 corners that are better than just about every single buddy else. So who's the top guy out on the market? If it's Brian Poole, I want you to type P. If you think it's Steven Nelson, the guy that we're talking about here, go ahead and type N. If you think it's Richard Sherman, I want you to scroll on down in the comments section and type S. I'm actually going to type my P for Brian Poole, but he's a slot corner. If you're looking for an outside corner, I still think it's actually Richard Sherman. Healthy cereal, too good to be true. That's exactly what Magic Spoon is. Seriously, you take one bite of this stuff and you're going to be like, wait a minute. There's no way that this is healthy for you. And I'm going to sit here and say, yes, it is. 13 to 14 grams of protein in every single bowl, only 4 grams of net carbs, 140 calories, and 0 grams of sugar. Magic Spoon is so confident that you're going to love this cereal. They get a 100% guarantee. So, like, you go buy some, you don't like it, you can send it back, you get your money back. It's a pretty awesome deal if you ask me. So all you got to do is go to magicspoon.com/chat, where you guys can go ahead and save $5 off your very first order. So don't worry, that is going to be available in the comments. It's going to be available in the description down there below. MagicSpoon.com/chat is how you guys are going to be able to save $5 off your very first order over at Magic Spoon. If you're wondering which flavors are my favorites, I love cocoa. It always makes me laugh. I'm in love with the cocoa. Also, peanut butter is a good one. Frosted is something to keep in mind as well. $5 off. MagicSpoon.com/chat. Le'Veon Bell to the New Orleans Saints. At least that's what CBS is going to go ahead and predict. They ended up breaking down where all these top free agents are going to sign this upcoming offseason. Le'Veon Bell is a big-time name. He's not quite as good as what he used to be, and I don't even know if he's any good at this point anymore. But if you are the New Orleans Saints, could you potentially be looking to add a third running back behind Alvin Kamara, maybe Latavius Murray? And if I'm Le'Veon Bell, if you don't want to play with Andy Reid, who I would say right now is the top head coach, top play caller in the league right now, maybe you want to go with somebody, the next best option, and that's Sean Payton. Somebody who's always been able to show that he is creative getting the ball in his running back hands. I mean, just ask Alvin Kamara, who is going to be that lead back here. There's no doubt about that. But in his first year, 81 catches. His second year, 81 catches. In his third year, 81 catches. In his fourth year, 83 catches. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to go out and get more snaps than Kamara or Murray, but maybe he's a better option than somebody like Dwayne Washington. That's all we're really trying to break down here. So if you were New Orleans, if you're Sean Payton, would you go out and sign Le'Veon Bell? I know it's tempting. You got the big-name player, somebody who used to be arguably the best running back in the league, but coming off pretty back-to-back disappointing years with the Chiefs, with the Jets, and then all the drama this offseason about him not liking Andy Reid. Give me a Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. In terms of his stats with Kansas City, it wasn't pretty this past season. 63 carries, 254 yards, averaged only 4 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Bell with the Jets back in 2020 as well, because that's where he started this year off. 19 carries, 74 yards, just couldn't really get things going. And if you want to talk about being washed up, sometimes it's what you do at the end of the year. Here are his playoff stats. In 3 games, he really only got on the field once, 2 carries, 6 yards, targeted 3 times, no catches. But let's go back to 2019. Maybe he was halfway decent, right? No, he wasn't. 245 carries, 789 yards, averaged only 3.2 yards per carry. Him taking a year off in 2018 definitely really impacted him, and he was a little bit too cocky in my personal opinion. I get that he was coming off in a stellar year in 2017, and he had very good years before that. But guess what? Maybe it was the Steelers' offensive line. Maybe it was the Steelers' parts around him, because since then, he has been a below-average running back. But anytime you talk about Bell, people are always going to be like, well, there was a time he was a phenomenal running back. And you are 100% right. Not only running between the tackles, not only staying patient behind that line, but really being able to catch the football. I mean, not that he was the first running back to do it, but he was one of the very first running backs that I personally remember from a fantasy football standpoint being like, in 2014, 83 catches, 2016, 75 grabs. Like, yes, I remember Matt Forte. I remember a lot of other great running backs as well that would catch the football. But Bell did a lot of things for that offense. So anytime you talk about him, people are always intrigued because it is a little bit of a household name. So let's make the call here. Where will Bell sign in 2021? Try to make a prediction. Try to look into the crystal ball. One of the things that we're doing on today's episode is not only showing y'all where places like CBS are trying to predict it, but also going to give you my 2 cents as well. So here are the top 5 teams that I believe make the most sense for Le'Veon Bell. The New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton. The Miami Dolphins, they've been looking for a running back for a while and actually had some interest in Bell last offseason. The New England Patriots, maybe they decide to move on from Sony Michel. The Carolina Panthers, no more Davis to back up Christian McCaffrey. And Seattle with Chris Carson, I don't trust Rashad Penny. Those are my top 5 teams for Le'Veon Bell. If Le'Veon Bell does sign, if Steven Nelson does sign, if Richard Sherman, any of these top free agents end up signing, we're going to go ahead and make a video about it. To make sure that you don't miss it, go ahead and subscribe to Chat Sports. Help us get to 250,000 subs. We're getting closer literally every single day, but we're also an interactive channel. So if you're looking for free interactive videos, I need you to subscribe. Golden Tate to the New England Patriots. That's what we're talking about here. CBS predicted where the top free agents will sign in 2021. Tate projected to sign with New England. I don't know if y'all remember this, so we're going to backtrack a little bit. All the way back in 2019, let's go in that time machine. He said that he would love to be a Patriot. I think a lot of people back in 2019 would have said, oh yeah, shit, I would love to be a Patriot. I would love to be able to play with Tom Brady. that is a little bit different here. So the fact that CBS decided to go this route, basically a week after Golden Tate listed a whole bunch of teams that he wanted to sign with, was a little bit confusing with me. But all these times that we've talked about Tate in the past, him being a scheme fit in New England, it always made a lot of sense. But I thought it was a little bit more to do with Tom Brady, and now the offense does run a little bit different, but if they decide to roll with the dice with somebody like a Mac Jones, heck, even Cam Newton, having an underneath receiver, I do think could actually make a little bit of sense here. So in 2020 with the New York Giants, 35 grabs, 388 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2019, 49 grabs, 676 yards, 6 touchdowns. But like the great Golden Tate, and it sounds weird to say that, 2017, 2016 with Matthew Stafford. I don't think you're ever going to get that version again. Maybe if he goes to New England, he can get over 500 yards, but he's got to be able to stay healthy, and he just doesn't have as much zip as he once did. But in terms of overall fit, the Patriots definitely could use some extra wide receivers. I understand that they went out and signed Nelson Aguilar. You had Kendrick Bourne. You had N'Keal Harry as well. So, like, these are okay players, but Harry isn't yet to be able to show anything. Aguilar, I get that he's coming off a good year with the Raiders. He's still kind of an unknown commodity. So if you can find an underneath receiver, maybe it does make some sense to go out and get, Golden Tate if you're the Patriots. So what do y'all think here? Should the Patriots sign Tate? I want you to type 1 for yes, or I want you to type 2 for no. If you want to be an overachiever and you are typing that 1 for yes, let me know what you think his contract details could potentially be. When I think about Golden Tate and where he's going to sign, I'm literally going to look to see what this man said just a week ago. He said that he would love to go back to his hometown and play in Tennessee, so the Titans, they're on my list. He also mentioned the Indianapolis Colts, which I thought was a kind of an interesting overall fit, the Los Angeles Rams, and then he went on to say all the teams in the NFC West. He wants to play with the Rams simply because of his old teammate Matthew Stafford. They had a phenomenal connection there. The NFC West, I think the 49ers would make sense. The Seahawks would be a little bit weird because even though Russell Wilson and him both said that they would squash their beef, I don't know if that's beef that you can ever squash, really. And then the Arizona Cardinals, they have plenty of talent there, so I don't really think that team makes a lot of sense. So what do y'all think here? Looking at this crystal ball, where will Golden Tate play in 2021? I'm starting to think that it could be the Titans, even though they just went out and got Julio. But there is a part of me that wonders if Matthew Stafford has enough pull. Obviously, he probably does. If he can go ahead and get him over there to L.A. But let me know down in the comments, where will Golden Tate play in 2021?